Big tech has now partnered with the government. The biggest U.S. tech companies, including Facebook, Microsoft, they are expanding the types of extremist content shared between firms in a key database. This is part of the national strategy. So here's what they're doing. The group will add attacker manifestos, often shared by sympathizers after white supremacist violence. Can you tell me, Stu, the last white supremacist violence that you saw in the news? Maybe Charlottesville?
A few of the people of January 6th.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it's not a big factor in our country. There are not a lot of white supremacists in our nation. I know this is shocking to the mainstream media.
So here's the thing. They're now working together, and they will use lists from intelligence sharing group Five Eyes. Do you know what Five Eyes is? Come on, Five Eyes. Anybody? Five Eyes are, and I'm gonna blow this here, but it's France, Australia, England, the United States, maybe Germany. I can't remember, but it's the biggest Western intelligence group. So our CIA, MI6, they work together, and it's Five Eyes. Canada is one of them. And we share all of the information as much as we care to share. Well, now we're sharing a database of extremists and those who are anti-government.
It's Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UK, and right. The United States.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so we are now playing with counterterrorism organizations. And they are now starting to access a global database, and they're getting input from Reddit, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Verizon Media, Microsoft, LinkedIn, Dropbox. All of that is going to a global database. Is this a problem? Is this a problem? And by the way, at the same time, these high-tech companies are saying that you're lying. And if you're lying about things, they're going to make sure that your disinformation or misinformation specifically about the virus, that if you're not telling the truth on that, you're going to be banned. Well, it's really, really weird. If you were looking at, if you were watching the internet at all, you might have heard about this person that just left the ER. And that when they were in the hospital there for COVID, they saw that we are officially being crushed by this Delta variant. It's much more dangerous than ever before. And it's somebody who wrote this just left the ER. Unfortunately, that's not true, because that exact message is being tweeted out by several people. And we're kind of wondering, who did that? And where are the fact checkers on this one? Who is putting out propaganda and pushing that out so everybody goes and worries about the Delta virus? Who's doing that? Because Twitter is all over misinformation. In fact, yesterday, Twitter suspended the 2020 election audit accounts. Now, these for multiple states. They banned accounts linked to the official 2020 election audits. These are the official state accounts. So they just thought that they should ban the audit war room in Wisconsin, in Nevada, in Pennsylvania, in Georgia. But other than that, don't worry about it. And I guess this happened because Ken Bennett, who is the GOP Secretary of State in Arizona, he is the liaison to the ongoing audit. And he came out last week and he said, I can't be a part of a process where I'm kept out of the critical aspects along the way to make the audit legitimate and have integrity when we produce the final report. He said, I've been asking, how are you coming up with these numbers? What are the things? And he's now been banned from this. He said, I can't vouch for a final product unless there's transparency and I can see how they're coming to these conclusions. I don't know if that's what led to the Twitter ban, but Twitter wants to make sure that you don't know what is happening with the audit. The UN has just greenlit big tech mega database to censor American extremists online. Big tech, it was a group led by the most powerful and the most influential online. They are going to broaden now their shared censorship data to curb extremist content and collect video and images deemed white supremacist, according to Reuters. The expansion comes after the group took on renewed urgency after January 6th. Facebook, Microsoft, Twitter, YouTube, tech oligarchs trigger happy to deplatform political dissidents, founded the Global Internet Forum to Counter Terrorism in 2017. It's a new, according to them, collective effort to prevent the spread of terrorist and violent extremist content online. You know, we never did any of these things for anybody else. Antifa, over $1 billion of damage they have. Could you look up how many people have died in all of these Antifa riots? How many police officers? Yeah, dozens.
It's dozens. Yeah.
Dozens. Airbnb is now in this, pledging to prevent hate groups from visiting Washington, D.C. MailChimp is using its power to deplatform opinions it doesn't like. Pinterest and Instagram have banned Donald Trump. This is a growing problem in the United States. And the problem really stems from people who absolutely believe that they are right. A New York Times reporter, this is not an opinion person. Her name is Katie Benner. She yesterday deleted tweets calling for Trump supporters to be considered enemies of the state. Enemies of the state. Trump supporters. She said that the January 6th committee has to do this to combat the national security threats within the country. And the solution is to target the voters of the former president. Now, she deleted because she said they were, unclearly worded. Well, here's what she wrote. Today's January 6th Select Committee underscores America's current essential national security dilemma. Work to combat legitimate national security threats now entails calling a politician's supporters enemies of the state. As Americans, we believe state power should not be used to work against a political figure or a political party. But what happens if a politician seems to threaten the state? If that politician continues to do so out of office and his entire party supports that threat? That's not unclearly worded. We know exactly what she means. They're also going back now and talking more about mask mandates. A good portion of America is not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. Here's the truth. We are a nation clearly divided. We are a nation that doesn't believe in blind justice anymore. If we did, this hearing would have people who disagreed with each other on the panel, and Adam Schiff would be nowhere near it. We're being told now we have to vaccinate, which I have no problem with vaccination. I currently have antibodies, and the antibodies are shown by science to be better than the inoculation. So when I feel like I need it, I'm going to take the vaccine. It's not a problem. I'm not giving it to my kids, but I don't have a problem taking the vaccine. But see, this is not about the vaccine. This is not about saving people. None of this is. This is not about stopping violence on the streets. This is not about stopping people who don't like the government in power. It's not. Otherwise, you'd be going after Antifa as well, because they are claiming they want an end to the Constitution and an end to capitalism and an end to this government. All right. So why are we looking into them? Because that's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for the truth. We're looking for a political viewpoint that is being deemed the truth. And anything that stands against it is evil, is wrong, is a danger to society. And you have to fear whatever it is. You fear that. You notice, as we have said almost every day this week, it is black and Hispanics, for the most part, that are not getting vaccinated. It's not Trump supporters alone. And many Trump supporters have already gotten the vaccine. But why are we made to feel that it's white extremists, that it's white people who voted for Donald Trump that are the problem here? That's not. This is all about fear. Everything they do is about fear. And the lockdown has turned fear into a virtue. I want you to listen carefully to this, because this is the problem. Those who are afraid to believe they're better people than those who aren't, and will subconsciously look for ways to multiply fear because that is their virtue.